Have you ever wondered why the quietest people often carry the greatest strength? There's a mystery about them, a calm presence that doesn't need to shout to be heard. In a world obsessed with oversharing, where privacy is often mistaken for secrecy, the most peaceful individuals are usually the ones who've mastered the art of restraint. They understand something many forget: not everything needs to be said. True wisdom, as the Stoics believed, doesn't lie in constant expression, it lies in knowing when to speak. And more importantly, when to remain silent. There is a quiet dignity in discretion. It's not about hiding, it's about holding your power close. Especially as we grow older, between the ages of 50 and 75, life begins to teach us a profound lesson: silence, at times, is strength. The world may urge us to open up, to broadcast our every thought and emotion. But the truly wise learn to guard their inner world. They recognize that what you reveal can uplift you, but it can just as easily expose you. And once exposed, you are no longer in full control. Privacy, then, becomes not just a preference, but a powerful shield. It's about maintaining control over your narrative, preserving your dignity, and protecting your peace of mind in a time when everyone seems to live under a spotlight. In today's world, where personal details are traded like currency, discretion is a lost virtue. But the Stoics never forgot it. They knew that self-restraint wasn't about isolation, it was about strength, respect for oneself, and the understanding that silence often says more than any speech ever could. So before you share your next personal thought, pause, ask yourself, does this strengthen me, or am I giving something away that I'll never get back? What you choose to withhold could be the very thing that protects your spirit. In this video, we'll explore 8 things you should never share with anyone, timeless Stoic insights that will help you preserve your energy, protect your reputation, and walk through life with quiet confidence. These ideas aren't about building walls, they're about standing tall, unshaken, in a noisy world, and it all begins with something deceptively simple: your age. Age. More than just a number. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius' age is often the first question people ask, a casual icebreaker that seems harmless. But behind that question hides something deeper. Society puts tremendous weight on youth, often reducing human beings to a single number. That number can become a label, one that shapes how others view your capabilities, your worth, and even your future. So why keep your age private? Because once people know your age, their perception shifts, sometimes subtly, sometimes drastically. They may start offering advice you didn't ask for. They may assume you're no longer as capable, as relevant, as energetic, or worse, they may stop seeing your experience and start seeing your expiration. This isn't just speculation, it's ageism. And it's very real, even in cultures that claim to revere wisdom. The illusion of youth often overshadows the truth of lived experience. The older we get, the more we risk being misjudged, overlooked, or gently pushed aside, not because we've lost our value, but because others have lost their perspective. Seneca once said, "We are always complaining that our days are few, and acting as though there would be no end of them. We measure life in years instead of experiences. And in doing so, we fuel fear, fear of aging, fear of irrelevance, fear of time running out." But when you choose not to disclose your age, you break free. You reject society's timeline. You reclaim your identity, defined not by a number, but by your energy, your passion, your contributions. People begin to see you not through the filter of a birthday, but through the power of your presence. So next time someone asks your age, consider this. What do they really need to know? Your wisdom? Your fire? Your story? None of those depend on a number. And this is only the beginning. Because age is just the first of many things we're taught to share, but might be wiser to keep to ourselves. As we discussed, keeping your age private helps others see you for who you truly are, your wisdom, your strength, your presence, not just a number on a timeline. The Stoics constantly reminded us that death is inevitable, but how we choose to live, that's entirely in our control. The years behind us matter far less than the life still burning inside us. Instead of counting the time that's passed, why not focus on the time that remains, and what we can still do with it? Keeping your age to yourself isn't an act of secrecy, it's an act of wisdom. Because life, at its core, isn't measured by the length of our days but by the depth of our moments. Moments of courage, moments of growth, moments of joy, reflection, and quiet triumph. And now, let's turn to the second thing worth keeping private, your money. 2. Money. Why financial privacy is key. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Epictetus. Money is an unavoidable part of life. It's woven into nearly every decision we make, from the mundane to the monumental. And yet, it remains one of the most sensitive and misunderstood topics. By the time we reach our 50s or later, our financial path may be clear and well established, or we may still be finding our footing. Either way, the Stoics remind us that real wealth isn't found in how much we have, but in how little we need. It's about self-sufficiency and peace of mind. So why keep your financial matters private? Because whether you're doing well or facing challenges, money has the power to distort how others see you. If you're wealthy, some people may begin to see you less as a friend and more as a resource. They might expect help, handouts, or favors, not out of true need, but out of assumption. And generosity, once expected, no longer feels like kindness. It becomes a burden, a silent obligation. This can lead to resentment, both from you and from others. Relationships that were once built on genuine connection may quietly shift into something transactional. On the other hand, if you share your financial struggles, you may risk something just as damaging: judgment. In a world that often equates success with material wealth, people may assume your hardship is the result of failure or poor choices, even if they know nothing of your journey. But as Seneca wisely observed, it is not the person who has little that is poor, it is the one who craves endlessly, who is never content. Your true value isn't in your bank account, it's in your character, your integrity, and your actions. Keeping your finances to yourself doesn't mean you're hiding. It means you're protecting your dignity and your independence. Because the less others know about your financial situation, the more freedom you have to live life on your own terms, free from expectations, judgment, or unsolicited opinions. There's an old saying, money talks, but wealth whispers. True prosperity doesn't need applause. Whether you have much or little, let your financial life remain your own quiet business. Because in that silence, there is strength. 3. Family secrets. Protect the sanctuary of home. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Marcus Aurelius. Family is a paradox. It is often our greatest source of love and support, and at times, our greatest source of conflict and challenge. The relationships we share with parents, children, siblings, and extended relatives are built over decades. They are stitched together with love, sacrifice, shared memories, and yes, the occasional pain and misunderstanding. Every family has its own hidden chapters, quiet tensions, unspoken hurts, stories that are too complex or too fragile to explain. But here's what the wise know. Not every family matter needs to be made public. Why should we keep family secrets private? Because trust is fragile. Once broken, it is incredibly hard to rebuild. Sharing private conflicts with outsiders opens the door to judgment, gossip, and interference, often from people who don't truly understand the nuances of your family's journey. A disagreement that could have been resolved behind closed doors becomes public spectacle. A wound that might have quietly healed is reopened by the harsh opinions of those who were never part of the pain to begin with. Your family's history is yours alone to carry and to protect. Just as we should keep family conflicts private to protect trust and the sacredness of our home. Sometimes choosing silence is the clearest sign of wisdom. The Stoics remind us, we cannot control the words or actions of others. But we can always control how we respond. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." And when it comes to family, silence is often the path to clarity. Oversharing internal family struggles can not only damage relationships, it can also unintentionally strip away the dignity and respect that each member of the family deserves. Keeping things within the household doesn't mean avoiding problems or suppressing emotions. It means handling them with discretion, grace, and personal responsibility. You choose to have direct conversations rather than airing grievances in public. You choose resolution over exposure. As we age, we tend to reflect on past mistakes, moments we regret, or tensions that remain unresolved. But by preserving family privacy, we create a safe space for healing. A space where relationships can grow without being weighed down by gossip or the scrutiny of outsiders. Honor your family not by exposing its flaws, but by protecting its trust. In a world increasingly addicted to oversharing, sometimes the wisest act is silence. 4. Medications. Health is personal. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Health, regardless of who you are, how strong, wealthy, or wise, is the great equalizer. No one escapes the wear and tear of time. By the time we reach our 50s and beyond, taking care of our health becomes a top priority. Some begin managing chronic conditions. Others rely on daily medications. Many undergo treatments to maintain their well-being. And while health is something we all care about, personal medical details are best kept private. Why? Because the moment you reveal that you have a certain condition, people may begin to see you through the lens of that illness, rather than as a whole. Complex human being. Conversations that once centered around your experiences, insights, and wisdom may shift to discussions about symptoms, prescriptions, and concerns for your well-being. Though others often mean well, this change can feel limiting. You are not just a patient. You are a person with a lifetime of knowledge, skills, and contributions. Moreover, sharing too much may open the floodgates to unsolicited advice. Some may push folk remedies, miracle supplements, or extreme diets, often without scientific support. And while their intentions may be kind, their suggestions can be overwhelming, misleading, or even dangerous. The Stoics emphasize that we cannot control external events, including our health, but we can control our response to them. Seneca once said, "Sometimes, Even to live is an act of courage. Another important reason to keep your health private? To protect your peace of mind. When others know too much, it invites worry, judgment, or pity. Some may treat you as if you're more fragile than you are. Others might see your condition as a sign of weakness, when in reality, facing health challenges demands immense resilience. Keeping your medical matters private isn't about fear or shame, it's about choosing how you define yourself. You don't let a diagnosis dictate how others see you. You don't let a prescription overshadow your character and values. You are in control of your body, your mind, and your story, just like how protecting your health means guarding your peace of mind. Choosing what to share and what to withhold gives you power over your own story. When you keep medical matters private, you maintain full control over your personal narrative. You decide how you wish to be seen, not through the lens of others' curiosity, sympathy, or assumptions, but on your own terms. Now, this doesn't mean you should carry burdens alone in silence. Not at all. Seeking professional help when needed, and confiding in a trusted loved one, is not only wise, it's essential. But broadcasting your health challenges to a wider audience? That often causes more harm than good. The Stoics were clear on this point. True strength is not found in lamenting your pain or troubles, but in carrying them with quiet dignity. Your health is deeply personal. It belongs to you, not to public opinion, nor to casual conversation. Guard it not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. Choose carefully who you share with, and why. Let your words be purposeful, not impulsive. Because at the end of the day, your true identity, your essence, is far greater than any diagnosis, medication, or treatment plan. You are not your condition. You are not your prescription. You are you, a whole, complex, resilient human being with stories, wisdom, and strength that no medical label can define. Now, speaking of things sacred and personal, let's explore another area where discretion becomes not only respectful, but essential. Just as we protect the privacy of our health to preserve our dignity and inner peace, kindness, if truly pure, needs no applause. Nowadays, silent acts of charity are becoming increasingly rare. In a world where even the smallest gesture can be posted, shared, and celebrated online, giving quietly has almost been forgotten. But the Stoics remind us, genuine kindness is its own reward. The very moment you seek praise for your generosity, you unintentionally diminish the purity of the act. Why should giving be kept private? Because giving should not be about the giver, it should be about the one receiving. When you make your acts of kindness public, sometimes your focus shifts away from the person in need and instead turns toward being seen as a kind person. Are you truly helping them, or are you helping your own image? A quiet donation, free from the spotlight and applause, carries far more weight. It reflects deep inner strength, giving because it's the right thing to do, not because it will be noticed. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once warned, kindness becomes meaningless when it carries the expectation of gratitude. When charity is tied to recognition, it loses its nobility. A truly virtuous person gives without expecting anything in return. No scorekeeping, no desire to be remembered, no hope for repayment or fame. To give in silence is to give in freedom. It's not just a moral choice, but a way to protect the dignity of the receiver. Not everyone wants to be seen as someone in need. Many take pride in their self-reliance. Exposing their struggles can unintentionally wound their sense of pride. When you help discreetly, You allow them to preserve their dignity. You lift them up, rather than making them feel small. In the end, the measure of kindness is not found in recognition, but in the real impact it creates. The most valuable gifts are the ones given in silence. The deepest acts of kindness are often the ones no one ever sees. Money, time, resources, they're just tools. The real value lies in how we use them. Let your generosity reflect your character, not become a performance for the world's approval. And when it comes to true self-worth, there is something even more precious than generosity: honor. And just like generosity done in silence, the same is true for our accomplishments. When you choose to keep your contributions and personal victories private, you're not hiding them, you're protecting your dignity. You're allowing others to see you for who you truly are, not merely for what you've done. In the end, the most honorable individuals are not those who broadcast their greatness to the world, but those who carry it with quiet grace. Honor isn't a performance. It's not something to be paraded or polished for attention. It's a way of being, rooted in integrity, guided by purpose, live in a way that commands respect silently. And you'll never have to demand it out loud. 8. Insults. Letting go of past hurts. If someone can provoke you, then your mind has already granted them permission. That's what Epictetus taught. Insults, slights, and moments of humiliation. These are inescapable parts of the human experience. No one walks through life completely unscathed. We are misunderstood, misjudged, criticized, and at times, even deliberately hurt. But the real question is, will you carry these wounds like a badge of bitterness? Or will you choose to put them down and walk lighter? The Stoics knew that clinging to past offenses only multiplies our pain. When we replay hurtful words over and over, we allow those moments to live rent-free in our minds. We grant power to the people who hurt us, turning a fleeting insult into a lasting scar. Why allow someone's careless remark to dictate your peace? Why give their moment of weakness the power to define your state of mind? True strength lies in the refusal to be shaped by what has already passed. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Said Marcus Aurelius, when we dwell on old wounds or seek validation from others, we only reinforce the pain. Every time we retell a painful story, we reopen the cut, keeping it raw, keeping it alive. Others might listen, they might even sympathize, but they cannot lift the burden from your shoulders. Only you can choose to release it. Forgiveness, in the Stoic sense, isn't about excusing the offender, it's about freeing yourself. It's about choosing not to be tethered to the past. It's about realizing that insults say more about the speaker than the target. When you keep these experiences to yourself, you create space for silent healing, free from pity, free from distortion, and full of clarity. To carry anger is to carry chains. To let go is to reclaim your freedom. The choice is always yours. As you move forward in life, remember this. Wisdom is not only about what you know, it's about what you choose to keep within. Silence is not weakness, it is power. What we protect in private often holds more strength than anything we display in public. By guarding these 8 sacred aspects of your life, you safeguard your peace, preserve your dignity, and maintain your inner autonomy. If this message resonated with you, let us know. Comment 1 if you found it insightful, or 0 if you see things differently. Your perspective matters. And if you believe in the power of inner strength and the quiet wisdom of the Stoics, Consider liking this video and subscribing for more timeless life lessons and reflections. Stay mindful, stay resilient, and remember, true power always begins from within. We'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore more ways to cultivate wisdom and live with greater clarity and purpose.